Mark, what's the pin?
This is for Renée Nicole Good, who was murdered. We have a vice president who's lying about what's happening. We have we're in the middle of a war with Venezuela that we illegally invaded. He's telling the world that international law doesn't matter to him. The only thing that matters to him is his own morality. But the guy is a convicted felon or convicted rapist. He's a pedophile. He's the worst human being in the world. If we're relying on this guy's morality for the most powerful country in the world, then we're all in a lot of trouble. So this is for her. This is for the people in the United States who are terrorized and scared today. I know I'm one of them. I love this country, and what I'm seeing here happening is not America. It's just not.
Mark, why do you feel that this platform is still useful to spread a message like this?
Listen, I want to pretend like this is, I want to be here to celebrate, and I am here to celebrate, and I'm proud to have a Golden Globe nomination. But also, this is not normal anymore. And so I don't know how I could be quiet, and I'm feeling a little sick, so it's hard to BS right now. So.
After I was there.
I wrote this about so terrible about
Right now?
They are recording.
It's just certain stuff I ain't want y'all to hear. That's it.
Folks, can we give them some space? Is that all right? Can we give them some space? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is so hard to sit here sometimes because I didn't come to Congress to write laws or to do things that are hurting people. I'm just asking if there's any decency or heart or courage on that side of the aisle. The fact that a woman was killed, she was shot in her head, and y'all are pretending like nothing happened. I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you remember what our response was? Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay. Is it okay because you have a badge? Because the last time I checked, allegedly no one is above the law. Can y'all not just have a little bit of courage and humanity? A child just lost her mom. And y'all want to pretend that it is okay. I am asking if there is anyone that will stand for the very people that elected us and sent us to Congress. You tell us things like, well, the immigrants are bad. And so we got to get all these bills because the immigrants are the ones that are causing the harm. They're bringing the crime. The mayor of Minneapolis told y'all to get the fuck out. Yet y'all are the ones, it is this administration that is bringing crime to their streets. That's what's happening.
It's the third incident where somebody has dropped an F-bomb in this committee, including the video.
I'm sorry.
Including the video that we had to watch earlier.
Are your princess ears okay?
Is it profanity?
The princess ears
House of Representatives.
The committee. You are about the fact that a woman.
Are you
House of Representatives.
The gentlelady.
Are we offending your princess ears? Are they that soft?
All members will.
Maybe some of the kids out there.
Mr. Chairman, it is the gentlelady's
They're killing
time.
them.
Kids.
It is the gentlelady's time. Let's let her have her time.
It is the gentlelady's time. Would you stop the clock for a moment? Okay, and I'll restore that. The chair will remind all members that the person controlling the time is not to be unreasonably interrupted. We would further admonish that whenever possible to express the full meaning of something, it be done so without an expletive that may be offensive to people here in the audience or those who watch this on television. I understand that a quote at times is essential, but I would admonish everyone that it has been the practice of this committee for the many years I've been here to use such things as F-bomb in order to get the message out without actually using the word. Notwithstanding that, the gentlelady will be recognized for this time plus an additional 20 seconds. The gentlelady may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Long story short, we are sitting in judiciary and no one on that side of the aisle seems to care that this particular person, whose name we don't know at this point, became the judge, jury, and executioner. I don't know how you square that. And then we're sitting here literally in markup for a bail funds bill. When I first ran for office, it was in the midst of yet another lynching by law enforcement in Minneapolis. At that time, it was George Floyd. I remember working as a pro bono criminal defense attorney to help protesters that were being arrested. There were more than 600 protesters that were arrested in Dallas. There were churches that came together to make sure that there were bail funds. There were nonprofit organizations. And to explain how it works for bail, since we're in judiciary and we're writing the laws, and some people may not understand this, but those bail funds, those nonprofit organizations are not the ones that determine whether or not somebody gets bail. What they do is they help out poor people, which I know y'all are not interested in either. But they help out people that aren't rich and famous and have limitless amounts of money, like all of the Epstein defendants who somehow y'all can't find, even though y'all went and got Maduro. But it helps out those people to be able to get out of jail. Many of those people that if they spend just a couple of days in jail will then be thrust into straight up poverty because they will lose everything. Why it is that you want to criminalize people such as churches that are trying to help the poor because they understand what the Bible says, and they don't just say that they understand it or say that they love Jesus, but they decide that they actually put it into works because faith without works is dead. That is wrong too. And I'm here to tell you that there's going to be a lot of nonprofit organizations that are going to step up in this moment because there are going to be protests around this entire country because of the state-sanctioned execution that we all saw unfold unless there is some kind of justice that takes place and we get the name of that officer and that officer is prosecuted. So I ask that law enforcement, we have oversight over them. I am the oversight ranker. Let's go ahead. In fact, I make a motion that we have a hearing in the oversight subcommittee as it relates to this particular issue and what took place.
When you look at statistics, the amount of folks that are being sent out of the country, the numbers are actually not that far apart from the last administration. So all of this performance, all of this fear of having the ICE officers and their gear, and their guns and all of this stuff, it is definitely meant to scare communities into compliance, right? These are not the acts of leaders who are America first, because they shot an American in cold blood in her face for us all to see. And for the folks that were so worried about Jasmine Crockett dropping the F-bomb, how do you think those kids felt when they saw all those videos on TikTok and Instagram? Because when I first saw that video yesterday, there was no warnings. Those kids that congressman was so worried about hearing the F-bomb saw that lady get shot in her face and in her head. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about the kids seeing. I could care less if Jasmine Crockett is dropping the F-bomb in Congress. More F-bombs need to be dropped in Congress. All of this is so upsetting, Roland. My week started off with the 1-6 hearings on the Hill. They were emotional. I sat there and I watched Nancy Pelosi the entire time, Roland. I watched this woman sit there for hours while she listened to testimony, while she testified. And that woman got up there and she said, I still pray for Donald Trump. This man who has done everything in his power to make her life a living hell and the rest of us, our lives a living hell. So all of this is taking a collective toll. And that's what I felt from Jasmine Crockett today. She said what we wanted to say.
This is the glove compartment of Renée Good. 37-year-old mom, 3 kids. She wasn't a terrorist. She wasn't a criminal. She was a mom. There's no weapon in that glove compartment. There's no knife, no gun, no explosive. There's stuffed animals. Any one of us with young kids knows what that glove compartment looks like. It's a distraction device. It's a bribery tool. It's a way to keep your kids calm when they're acting out in the car. She had a baby to go home to. A 6-year-old who is now orphaned, who lost his father just 2 years ago. So you want to defend this? You want to defend the murder of this mom? You want to root on and cheer for her being shot in the face 3 times? Unfortunately, this is where we have been heading from the start. It was just a matter of time. When you hire masked thugs, of course, it's going to get increasingly horrible. We started with ICE agents chasing people through the fields and the factories where they work, deporting US kids with stage 4 cancer, pulling peaceful people out of their homes and cars by their hair, and now shooting a mother and telling us, just like you told us on January 6th, don't believe your eyes when you see the video. Is this going to get worse? Of course it will. Bodies are piling up. Will Renée Good be the last mom murdered by ICE? We literally now have masked murderers roaming our streets. But we're not helpless. And if my Republican colleagues are going to do nothing right now, you better believe that accountability is coming. here's what it looks like. The masks are coming off. Identification is coming out. Immunity is going to be stripped. And to Kristi Noem, Tom Cashbag Homan, and Greg Bovino, your asses are going to be in these witness chairs. The job we have on this committee is to keep Trump out of our streets, out of our homes, and out of our lives. No policy matters to anyone on this committee if you can't protect your people. So people like Renée Good, an American citizen, a mom, doesn't get shot 3 times in the face, so she can go home to her 6-year-old child, and so we can go back to the country I know we are.
That's what's happening here. And people better wake up to it. You want to read something? Then read your history of Germany and start comparing the tactics of what happened in 1930s Germany to what's happening here.
The person I actually got hit.
Read history. You learn from history. Anytime you have the loss of life that needlessly happens, that's tragedy. And what occurred yesterday did not have to happen.
Let us be clear. Let us not be deceived. The murder of Sister Renée Good in Princess City, Minneapolis, is not just about one isolated incident. It is one step closer to American-style fascism, not just in terms of the rule of big money and big military, not just in terms of the grotesque wealth inequality, not just in terms of the scapegoating of brown immigrants, of black folk, of gays and lesbians, and the crushing of the working class and its trade unions. It's deeper than that. It's a spiritual issue that has to do with those who think that might makes right, that power can always trump any morality, and think that somehow everyday people, organized people, will cave in and give up and feel as if we're so hopeless and so helpless and so impotent. But no, I come from a great black freedom tradition that understands that no matter how much you gangsterize the world, we have a countervailing force inside of us, outside of us, among us. So yes, we respond with love of people in face of hatred of those people. Yes, we respond in terms of justice in the face of terror, and freedom in the face of unbelievable trauma. Yes, indeed. This is a moment in which more and more we're going to have to decide, are we willing to bear witness, to pay a cost, and to be true to those who came before in the face of this organized greed, this weaponized hatred, and this routinized cruelty in policy? Long live the name of Sister Renée. Yes, just like George Floyd, just like Breonna Taylor, just like so many others who have had the better cost of arbitrary power. Let us be always mindful of our spiritual, moral, and political power here in every corner of the globe.
I am worried about how quickly basic democratic rules and norms have been weakened. I'm worried about how willing Republicans in Congress have been to surrender their role as members of a co-equal branch of government, refusing to buck the president even when they know he's out of line, even when a lot of them will privately admit that power is being abused in ways that will hurt their constituents and hurt the country. I worry about a Supreme Court that, so far at least, has shown no willingness to check this administration's excesses. even when those actions break legal precedent and seem to defy the bedrock principle that no one is above the law. I worry about the growing concentration of economic power in this country, with just a handful of mega billionaires and companies controlling what we see and what we hear,